we gotta say?
Students should not know where the professors stand on certain issues.
I'm a college student, and as you may be aware, there's been some controversial legislation regarding higher education as of recently. The University of Cincinnati, which we will be exploring today, is one community affected by this legislation. The legislation I'm talking about is Senate Bill 1 and Governor Mike DeWine's ban on transgender restrooms. If you're not already aware, Senate Bill 1 requires universities to have no controversial takes, and it also bans institutions from providing opportunities based on minority status. Senate Bill 1 violates free speech and requires that faculty does not strike. About an hour ago, I texted a local celebrity named DJ Boywife and asked him his takes on this topic. All the bathrooms in the University of Cincinnati are being changed to say biological male or biological female. As an advocate for the LGBTQ community, he decided that he's going to talk about this issue today at his show. You transitioned how long ago?
2 years now.
So do you think the more conservative direction the country's moving in with Senate Bill 1 and the restrooms things under DeWine will affect transgender people negatively?
Yeah, I think that's probably the point.
My sign says the Nazis started with education because the first Nazi book burning was of the Institute of Sexual Research in Germany. Where they researched specifically trans identities. They started with trans people then, and they're starting with it again.
It's like, the thing in Germany, they came for the union workers. I wasn't a union worker, so I didn't speak up. They came for many people before the Jews, and they didn't speak up. And then everybody's gone. Nobody can speak up.
Where are any of us fucking safe?
So you've got to speak up, even if it doesn't pertain to you at that particular moment. It still is going to affect you. People have to get on their feet and walk.
Protect trans students! Protect trans students! Protect trans students! Protect trans students!
On Friday, I had to talk a trans student down from suicide because they saw those bathroom signs and they thought that they did not belong here.
People over money! People over money! People over money! People over money! People over money!
The same schools centered around bathrooms do not even mandate the biological signage. All the university had to do to comply with the state was make a simple announcement. That alone would have complied. Instead, they chose to go above and beyond, step over and the university has gone above and beyond to over-comply with the state that very clearly doesn't give a fuck about us.
These laws against trans people, they are meant to humiliate us. I will not allow them to humiliate me. In fact, they're the ones who are going to feel awkward when they see a naked trans person. They want to know what's down there? I'll fucking show it to them.
So have you been personally affected yet by either of these two legislations?
Personally, not yet. It's quite recent, and also I just avoid public restrooms altogether.
Do you think that goes for most transgender people? They just avoid restrooms?
I'd say a decent chunk of people just avoid them. A lot of them are too shy to go into their preferred restroom.
About those initiatives, could you maybe speak to why DEI is important to you, why it's important for UC?
It provides an equal learning environment, and it provides the extra help because justice isn't everyone getting the same thing, it's getting what they need. and some people need extra help. The system pushes them from low-income households or something, and they want to come to college and live their life. And then these programs are being taken away for seemingly no reason. And there's initiatives, and there's people are so passionate about like the programs that they're involved in. There's a black choir group that's going to be disbarred. Like, there's so much things like going on, and it's kind of ridiculous because everyone just kind of wants to have a fun learning environment, and they're taking parts of it away, which is kind of weird.
If you search a particular author in a PDF, what you get is the public-facing, this is on our curriculum, people, so you don't say we're woke. So it's kind of added another layer of it's opaque now. It's not transparent. It's absolutely opaque. So the actual readings that we have in the curriculum have been buried under this political layer for people online. So that's a problem for students. I have to do more research in order to find the correct readings that I have to write about.
We live in a world that justifies the eradication of proper education. Under what guise? Money for jobs and education, not for mass deportation.
The grant money has been stopped. What we call soft money, federal grant money. I was told, I research African-American workers in Chicago in the turn of the century, 1890s to up to 1900s, the Pullman Company. If I use in my grant application the word racial, I will immediately be denied. They won't look at the rest of my grant application. They won't look at the research I've done or the merit of the research. It will stop at a word.
So are we going to stand in cowardice? No! Are we going to stand in cowardice? No! We're going to fight back! Yeah! And that's all we got to say! Yeah!
So what will happen is my mentor, my committee member on my thesis, which I defended last term, she studies women in comedy films and early silent cinema. So if they have some kind of EO or exceptional, eliminated terms, gender, or women in, or she does anything on trans, she's out. Her contract won't be picked up.
Do you remember what the bill was called that you mentioned, but like the federal level bill?
Well, it's not there. I don't think there's a bill. I think it's just part of the Doge.
No, it was the executive order.
Is it the executive order?
That was blocked by the judge, which essentially makes everything that they're doing here ridiculous. Now, they are trying to comply with this state order, but there's ways. Ohio State found ways to comply that didn't involve the level that they're going at. Pinto is being a coward.
I believe so.
He's worried about losing funding.
Yeah, he is being a coward.
Because Trump can do that without much approval, and he can take funding and then wait and see what the Supreme Court says before he gives it back. So he can take away funding, and that's what Pinto's worried about, and that's why he's making this big stink about DEI all of a sudden.
I agree. I agree. It's also, you have a sense because we brought in more Big 12 money recently to protect that status in that conference. So it does connect to athletics. Nothing against student athletics, but we have, as grad students, we have no money to travel to present our research anywhere. This university has failed us on the research level. We have nothing. We have no money. We have to pay everything out of pocket. So we have substantial scholarship here, but that scholarship can't flourish if we can't deliver to other universities around other scholars our own research at this university. So if he supports, if Pinto truly supports this as our top 30 research institute, how does he support research if we have no money to get to conferences to present our research? It's our money.
Yeah.
We pay and we earn the money. I earn a scholarship. It's our money. Yeah, it's our money. We run this institution, not their benefactors.
Education is under attack.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up,
It's not in our makeup. When you make it when you're a faculty member, when you make it to that level, you have to get there without favoring your prejudices. You're already engaged in confronting your own biases as a scholar, so why would I attack you for defending a position logically? Why would I do that? Politicians do that. So I think politicians have conflated academics and students as themselves because they want to be us. They want to have the knowledge that we're privy to, and they don't. They're infinitely ignorant to.
To you, what's the difference between propaganda and education?
Propaganda is what they do in Capitol Hill. What we do is we support evidence with fact. We have fact-based evidence. We have arguments that are based on fact.
It's just sort of like the state making sure that the world knows that we don't fuck with them trans people.
How keep unsafe? We keep unsafe. Our administration!
Board of distrust! 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 Board of distrust!
What do you think the future of the education system looks like if bills like this continue to be passed, if the right to free speech or like the right to free opinion continues to be suppressed?
Well, there will be no education. That's not education. If everybody has to have the same opinion and parrot the same opinion, that is not education. That is brainwashing. It's cult speak. It's the 1989 news speak. It's just, that's not education.
You just need to resist.
With SB 1, it takes away a fundamental right that faculty has to protest and to strike. And again, like I said, that's something that we've fought for years, and taking that away from them is just moving backwards.
The aspect where it won't let teachers go on strike, and unionizing is important for them to have their rights as workers.
I think that everyone's opinion should be respected and heard. I don't think that everyone has to agree with them. I think that everyone's opinion should be respected and heard.
Of course, you can be afraid that the university is going to lose its funding. Yeah, but I don't think that means you roll over and let it happen. I think that means you fight with your students and you fight for us, because we are frankly, if all you care about is money, we're giving you money too. So
Our campus! Our campus!
Beyond that, Pinto has a responsibility as the president of this campus to represent us as a campus, and that's not what he's doing right now.
Don't be silent, don't be weak. For our future, we must speak.
So do you think there was any reason for this bill to be passed?
Just because ignorance and hate, that's it.
I'm here to learn. I'm not here to voice my opinion in the classroom. Outside, I believe freedom of speech. You do whatever you want.
What it is that any sort of legislation or policy or amenities towards a protected class. So, something that's touted a lot is LGBTQ groups or race groups, stuff like that. But the way it's written in the bill, because it's been kind of hodgepodge together from bills from Florida, from Texas, stuff like that, is that veterans groups would fall under that class, under that protected class. Amenities for the VA or for veterans lounges and stuff like that could be under attack from this bill. What would you say to that?
Well, that could be something that could happen. I don't see that happening because veterans are protected, and that is more something that is more if you can be out to go and be a veteran. So I can see how it could be, but I don't see that happening.
What would you say so I was on the phone with Senator Jerry Serino a few days ago, and which is kind of a painful conversation. But one thing he said was, we're not restricting speech, we're opening it for intellectual diversity, is his language, or that it always has to be presented with both sides. What would you say to his argument about that?
Well, I'd say that's what we've already had, without Senate Bill 1.
That's a big part of their appeal, is that they have this sort of public image they work towards of getting things done.
I just do it. I get it done. I get things done. I'm good at getting things done.
We say we'll do something and we'll do it and we'll get it done.
But when it doesn't matter as long as we get the job done.
So something like this is just something to show that we are doing what we said we'd do in the election cycle. We're doing something, see?
That's not the big thing. The big thing is getting it done. And we'll get it done.
This is why you voted for us, to the people that voted for them. So it's just like a way to encourage their supporters when functionally it doesn't do much as a policy.
Do you think that the momentum that is being built in the direction of like anti-trans legislation is going to continue and is going to be worsen over time?
I don't think it can worsen because I feel like there's so many trans people out there, and we're going to win. I just think we're going to win. And even if it takes some road bumps and stuff, I think that a lot of most people who are, decently smart can tell that we deserve rights like this. So, and it's only become better for us over time. So this is just a downward spike in what is a big hill upward, in my opinion.
And UC would not be what it is today if it wasn't for the contributions of Black people, of queer people, of Jewish people, of anyone who is involved in DEI. It's so very important that we have that basis of diversity.
There's already executive orders in the books that regarding passport documentation about whether you can get like name and gender changes on the passport documentation. Because that's the most immediate one inside the realm of federal control. So an executive order, they've just put a pause on all of that currently. So it does seem to be a target, just general.
You could?
Yes, yes. Like pretty much every legal documentation, even currently, you can get your birth certificate to change to say female on it. It doesn't matter. You can get it to say X on your birth certificate. So the thing is, actually, the way the bill is worded, it's like it specifies that you can use birth documentation to prove that you are allowed to go in there or whatever if it comes into question. But they also specify if it was issued with recency to the time of birth or something like that. Okay. So they are trying to like work around that. But are you gonna have a fucking bathroom bouncer like standing around like let me check your birth certificate? All right, let me go check national records to see if this was issued recently after your birth or if it got issued later. Like what? It's just like it's not actually. Once again, it's not a real policy. This doesn't functionally do anything.
So you don't think there's a real issue to be solved? They're just
making more issues. That's what this is. I mean, no one had an issue with the bathrooms, No one had an issue with trans people, but they're making it an issue. They're making it a big deal.
It's just not an issue. It never was an issue. It's a fake issue.
What steps can be taken to combat this direction of the political climate?
Vote. Vote and spread awareness.
Do you think that Senate Bill 1 is a violation of free speech?
Absolutely.
Do you think people should be able to voice whatever opinions they want?
Absolutely.
So why do you think this bill passed?
It's a great question. I think there's a lot of people who think the opposite. And for now, there isn't a big enough majority to fight, but I think there will be soon.
But I mean, conservatives are all about like amendment rights, right? Like you always be like, oh, right to bear arms, right to free speech. But here it's a conservative bill that's saying, no, you're not allowed to, you have to be neutral on all controversial topics. You're not allowed to voice your opinion is what they're saying.
Yeah.
Do you think that's hypocritical?
Quite hypocritical. And I think just it stems from hate, even if it doesn't make sense. It's just hate and ignorance. And if you have enough of that, it doesn't need to make sense.
Think that's the overall takeaway?
Yeah,
Stop the hate.
stop hating.
Fucking
Yeah, just let us
people
live.
be, bro.
Yeah.
Let them live. Shit. My issue with Senate Bill 1 is that it seems to represent the same death of reflection that we see within many other aspects of our current culture. Senate Bill 1 banning hot takes, banning controversial opinions is fucking stupid. It seems that the legislation diminishes the value of reflection. If we're not allowed to share beliefs and have opposing belief systems, then there's no room for discourse and debate, and there is no room for growth. The thing that makes the United States a great country is the fact that we have discourse, we have debate, and there is constantly growth. The attempt to remove that discourse and debate is disgusting, and it's constantly perpetuated everywhere you look. If you look at modern artists, if you look at your favorite musician, they probably don't give a shit about what they create. They're creating an image of themselves more than they're creating a project or a piece of art. Reflection is what makes art art. Reflection is what makes growth growth. Reflection is what makes learning happen. And Senate Bill 1 is anti-learning. I understand why UC took the stance it did on this issue. And it's because they need funding. Like they gotta get paid. I don't think it's any individual school's fault, but I think students should encourage their schools to advocate for learning. What are schools for? What is this course for? Neutrality and entertainment and distraction are what kill intelligence. I don't want school to just be another screen that I stare at to numb myself. School and the process of learning is what makes people better. It's not meant to entertain you. It's meant to make you grow. How are you supposed to grow without reflection? There aren't simple answers, but an easy one is to stick to what makes you you. For a learning organization, a learning institution, what makes them them is learning. Their key value, what they should push for, what they should work for, what should be legislated on their behalf, should be to perpetuate learning. Senate Bill 1 can be described as anti-free speech, but it's better described as anti-discourse. It's better described as anti-growth. I didn't come into this video with a narrative I wanted to push. I didn't come in with this video to create a call to action. I came into this video hoping to learn. I came into this video hoping to understand different perspectives. I came into this video hoping to make art. I came into school hoping to learn. If this video had any value, it's because it was difficult. It's because I had to struggle through something in order to create a product. It's because I wasn't staring at a screen trying to numb myself any free moment I had. So learning institutions. If this video finds you, you should either create designated cart bathrooms and allow phones and put on some fucking Subway surfers behind the teachers, or you should fight against Senate Bill 1.
Infinitely ignorant to
you, what's the difference between propaganda and education?
Propaganda is what they do in Capitol Hill. What we do is we support evidence with fact. We have fact-based evidence. We have arguments that are based on fact.